It's time for Steve Kerr, sponsored by Xfinity. The Xfinity 10G network is made for streaming live sports, which means it's the network you can rely on in the biggest moments. The Xfinity 10G network, the best way to stream live sports, and presented by Great Clips. In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. Great Clips, it's going to be great. Steve Kerr, head coach of the Warriors, with us. Good afternoon, sir. Glad you're here. And we got all kinds of stuff we want to ask you about, but the first thing we want to do is check in on you and the rest of the staff and all of those in your travels over the last 48 hours. How did everything go?
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was wonderful to be in Belgrade with the family and friends of Decky, and to be there for the service. It was just everything was beautiful. Obviously, very, very sad as well. But we just felt it was so important for us to be there with them. Decky meant so much to us and did so much for us that we needed to represent our franchise and be there for them during the service. So flew back today, and it's good to be back home. But very emotional, but well worth the trip. We needed to be there.
Can you share some additional details about the Serbian people and what it was like to see not only the tributes that they paid, but the reception you guys received just by making the effort to go halfway around the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a huge basketball country. I think everybody pretty much plays basketball growing up there, and that's what my friends who were there. There were so many former NBA players, from the region who were at the service, and I talked to a lot of them, and they all kind of said the same thing, that the basketball is such a big part of the culture, and so there's a huge respect for the NBA, and people stay up and watch games over there, and so they all shared with me how much it meant to them to see, the tribute that we gave to Decky a couple of weeks ago before the Atlanta game, and then also that it meant a lot for us to be there, for them. So it was nice to hear that, nice to know that we could make an impact, and help people at least feel loved and really respected on a very difficult day.
Coach, I can only imagine what you guys have gone through simultaneously since this event. You guys have played inspired basketball. You're 8-3, and if you look at the three losses, you're like a couple buckets away from being 11-0 since this all happened. What went on with the team that you think kind of got things going in a different direction?
Well, I think number one, we've had a really good connection all season long. So this has obviously been a tumultuous season in a lot of ways, but in no way is that connected to the emotional well-being of the group. The group is great. They love each other. They really pull for each other, and they've been that way all year. But I think it's just kind of the fact that Draymond got healthy. JK has made a breakthrough. The combination of those things, changing the starting lineup, playing a little faster, getting Gary Payton back, all of that stuff has contributed to us finally finding a rhythm and playing like the team that we knew we could be.
And having number 30 probably doesn't hurt, Coach. Another spectacular game-winning moment. Did that game against Phoenix, did that feel kind of like a playoff game, like a Game 7, and a game that should be maybe held in May?
We've had a lot of games like that. The Laker game a week before, the one we lost in double overtime, felt just like that. And I do think there's some value in playing these exciting, tough games that go down to the stretch. I know we've played more clutch games than any team in the league. So, just the nature of our games, the way our guys play, the excitement that Steph brings to the floor, the energy that Draymond brings, all of our games feel high level and, playoff atmosphere like. So it's good for us. I think it's helping us become a better team.
Steve Kerr with us on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game, as he is every single week. Coach, I think we all understood the sentiment, but it's still a funny statement to hear that Draymond made, which is that I think the suspension ended up being good for the team as a whole. Do you agree?
I don't know. I mean, I just know Draymond's going to say, lots of stuff, and he's going to throw anything out there. And if he says so, I'll believe it. So, whatever it takes.
Well, having him back appears to be good for the defense. Is it just as simple as getting Draymond back, which has led your team to suddenly hold almost everybody under 110?
I think what's also happened, simultaneously is that Wiggins is playing much better, and J.K. has had a breakthrough, during that same span. I mean, over the last 10 or 15 games, obviously Kuminga's scoring, but it goes beyond that. His defense has been better. He's just recognizing things more quickly, so his rotations are faster. I think, combined with changing the starting lineup, playing Draymond at the 5, and then those two guys playing well. Now getting Gary back, we just look quicker, we look bouncier, more athletic, and I know over the last 10 games, I believe our defense is third in the entire league, and our offense is number 1. So, it's not a huge sample size, but for this stretch anyway, we have clearly turned a corner, and we're playing two-way basketball, and that's what it takes.
Coach, we've talked so much about Klay Thompson's demeanor, his thoughts on dealing with getting older and the injuries that he's dealt with and whatnot. So I really thought it resonated wonderfully with fans when he recently he talked to Logan Murdoch with The Ringer, and he sort of indicated that he would be very open to his role being diminished a little bit if that meant that he could stay with the Warriors going forward. What does that mean to you?
It means that I think Klay is starting to reconcile everything that's happened, between the injuries, just the way the last couple of years have gone. I think, really he's had a hard time these last couple of years trying to do that, and I think it's starting to happen. Part of being effective later in your career when you've slowed down a little bit or you've had some injuries like Klay has, part of that is embracing and accepting those changes. And if you fight them like Klay does sometimes, then it's just going to lead to frustration. But you can understand it. He's played at such a high level for so long, and imagine being able to do what Klay has done over the years, and then suddenly you can't do it as often. I mean, there's huge frustration that comes with that. But I just think he's starting to understand things a little better. As I said, kind of reconcile them and be okay with things. And you saw the way he played last night. He's been much more patient, more solid. The last week or so, and that'll pay off for him.
Part of the reconciliation, I think, has been what you mentioned about Andrew Wiggins and him playing better. Is it easier for Andrew to have maybe an exhale moment now that the trade deadline's behind him and all the speculation? Is it easier for him to just go out and be Andrew again?
I think so. He definitely wanted to stay. I talked to him the night of the trade deadline after the game, and he was very relieved, and I was relieved too. I love Wiggs, and I really wanted him here. I know what he can do. I know what he means to the team. The whole team loves him. He's just such a great teammate, great human being. And I've seen this coming over the last month. He just looks bouncier. He looks more active. And frankly, I think we've put him in some better positions to attack as well with the new lineup that we're playing and some of the things we're doing. So he's really doing a great job of just kind of getting his season turned around and getting ours turned around as well.
Coach, this was breaking news to us. I don't know if it is to you, but let us run it by you, and you tell us. The Clippers have announced that Kawhi Leonard has a left adductor strain and will not play tomorrow night. Your thoughts?
I hate when guys don't play, especially star players. We've lost so many games the last couple of years when star players have sat out. There's just kind of a natural letdown. And then you always end up getting guys who are coming off the bench who can't wait to be out there playing, and they bring their best effort. And so I'm hoping that Kawhi is okay long term, and I'm hoping that we can bring our best stuff tomorrow despite his absence.
I thought when you started that answer, I thought you were kidding.
I'm dead serious. It's the worst. It's the worst feeling in the NBA when you play against a team that sits guys. It's crazy how the weird feeling. Sorry about my dog. Hey, cut it out. But it's a weird vibe, and I prefer it when guys are healthy and we can just go and play.
I don't know if we've met your dog yet, Steve. Tell us about your dog who just made an appearance on 95.7
That's
again.
Lulu. Lulu is a white retriever, basically golden retriever, but with white fur. She's 3. She's now that my wife and I are empty nesters, she's basically the center of our lives.
Sounds like she's a stretch 4. Got some size to her in that bark.
More of a backup point guard.
Okay.
Nice.
Brings a lot of energy.
Always looking for one of those. Yeah. And does she just? That was a very chill, like sort of, hey, stop it, and she just stopped. Like you don't have to raise your voice or anything.
No, she's terribly behaved.
It's good coaching.
I just don't really care that much.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you have it.
Okay. Well, since you care so much about Kawhi being out, now apparently, according to you, this means it's much less likely that you will get your 500th regular season coaching win tomorrow night. So, what a bummer. But in case something crazy happens and you win tomorrow night, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means I've been here a long time. 10 years that's a long time for a coach to be in one place. So it means I'm very, very lucky to coach a group of guys who've been together for so long in an amazing organization. The stability that we have, the continuity has been a big part of the success of the team. So it's crazy that it's been 10 years. Man, that has flown.
Yeah, I mean, time flies, absolutely, and kind of cool that you get the Kenny wins and you got the Luke wins back when he started the year when you had the back issue. So those do go under the Kerr category. Got to feel like the All-Star break's coming at a bad time. It's weird to say that because normally you can't wait to get away, but you guys are rolling right now, Steve.
We are, but I think the break will be welcomed by everybody. We've had so many games. We have the Thursday game in Salt Lake, the makeup game there. Our schedule has just been loaded, and obviously the whole team has been through an awful lot emotionally with Decky's death, and so this I'm not worried that it's going to disrupt our rhythm and our momentum. I'm really happy for the group that they get to get away for a few days and then hopefully recharge and come back ready next week.
Coach, we can all see how well Draymond is playing basketball, but I would love your perspective on the emotional side of all this, in particular because Jusuf Nurkic the other night continued to call him out and even uttered the phrase, he's learned nothing. It was one of those games where he was riding the line, and that may make some people uncomfortable, but he's always going to be that. So what's your perspective on how he's handled just that emotional side of it all?
He's been perfect. He has been perfect. We asked him when he came back to walk the line, we said, you can't be passive. You can't be somebody you're not. You have to bring the energy. You have to bring the edge. I told him, I said, I want you, arguing with the refs. I just don't want you to cross the line and do anything that would harm you or harm the team or harm an opponent. And I told Draymond, whenever it was a few weeks ago when he came back, that there's no reason he can't do that because he did that for his entire career until this past year. So I think he's in a great spot. He's playing so hard. He's bringing the energy. He's bringing the competitiveness. He's not crossing the line. He's playing like the guy who has helped us win 4 championships.
Is there any concern about the long-term effect of using him so much at the 5?
Not really. I think the way the league is now, There's only a couple of guys who you worry about. I mean, if Draymond had to guard Joel Embiid every night, if this were the 90s and he was guarding Ewing and Olajuwon and David Robinson, yes, that would be a problem. But it's a small ball league now, and even the big guys are out shooting threes, and Draymond fits beautifully into this era, this NBA era. So I'm not worried about that at all.
Coach, you had been the head coach of the Warriors for like 4 minutes, and you're already winning titles. So this never happened to you, but it's happening to one of your counterparts right now with the 49ers. What's your reaction when you hear people say a coach, quote, can't win the big one?
Well, I think they said that about Andy Reid, for up until he got Patrick Mahomes, Coaching is, to me, it's all about doing the best you can to put your team in a position to succeed. Kyle has done that and more his entire run here. This team has been so good. I feel so bad for them because they're so close. But this is the gig, and I've felt it. Even though we've won some championships, when things go wrong, as the coach, you're going to take a lot of heat, and it's part of it. But Kyle's a brilliant coach. The whole organization, so amazing. But right now they got a Patrick Mahomes problem. That seems like the. What the whole league has right now is they're running into one of the great quarterbacks of all time. So I feel for the Niners, but man, they're crushing it year after year. They're putting together such great teams. They're so well coached, and I feel for those guys. I want them to get over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, knocking on the door. We're all heartbroken over here, having suffered through that a couple days ago. So you got the All-Star break coming up, and Steph versus Sabrina. Break it down for us, Steve. How much pressure is on Steph Curry in this one-on-one three-point shootout?
Yeah, I haven't even given it any thought, but knowing Steph, he won't feel a whole lot of pressure. Honestly, he just loves competing. He loves shooting. I don't think he's too worried about the pressure. I think he's going to just go out there and have fun. He has so much respect for Sabrina and for women's basketball. I think he recognizes that this is a big step in the evolution of the women's game, and an important step, and I think he's really proud of taking part in it.
Steve, you mentioned the emotional roller coaster you've all been on. What about you and the All-Star break? What are you going to do to dial out?
I'm going to go down to San Diego. That's where our off-season home is, and all three kids and their significant others, and my granddaughter, they'll all be there. So we'll have a little family reunion for about 4 days and hang out. And I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be great to get away. Well,
yep, you've certainly earned it, and everybody's excited. It's well timed too, with football coming to an end. The winning streak that you're on, and we'll see if you can endure no Kawhi tomorrow night, Coach. All right. Thanks, guys. Good to have you. Yep. As always, Steve Kerr, Golden State Warriors head coach, right here on 95.7 The Game.